Hello everybody and welcome to my Symmetra 3.0 damage mini rework. For once, I am actually going to try and keep Symmetra's current design and role in my concept. So, why would Sim need a rework? What are her problems? Well, to name all of them, health is too low, no defensive abilities, primary is short and has a slow charge time, secondary is slow, turrets aren't noticeable enough, current teleporter feels like a taxi service and is still too slow to use in a pinch. Okay, I think that's all of them. This rework won't tackle all of these issues, however it will tackle some of the bigger ones in the list I mentioned. Like my previous reworks, I will talk about the stats of each ability, and then explain my reasons for the changes afterwards. Let's begin. Symmetra will have a new passive called Enhanced Shields, where Symmetra's shields constantly heal at a rate of 10 shields a second. Symmetra's primary fire will have its charge time reworked. For level 1 to 2, the charge time will be decreased from 1.33 seconds to 0.8 seconds. From level 2 to 3, the charge time will be increased from 1.33 seconds to 1.8 seconds. The range will also be increased from 12 meters to 14 meters. Before we continue, here's a quick mock-up of what the new charge times would look like. Symmetra's secondary fire will have its damage lowered from 140 to 125. Symmetra's teleporter is no longer infinite, and it now lasts for 10 seconds. The 12-second cooldown now begins immediately upon activation. The deploy time has been reduced from 2 seconds to 1.5 seconds. And last up, the teleporter can no longer be used by teammates. For this rework, I wanted Symmetra to be a viable close-range, flanker hybrid character who can safely poke in and out of fights with her TP. A character that both players of and teammates of can respect and feel impact from. Let's try and get rid of the
"Can we not have a Symmetra?"
comments before the damn game even starts. Okay, now onto my reasoning for each ability. I'm actually going to start with the primary fire, since I think that's the most drastic change here. So right now, one of Symmetra's biggest issues is that she is a terrible duelist. Sim will outright lose most 1v1s because her weapon is so terrible. The photon projector primary has so many handicaps. Charge time, short range, and Sim's low health on top of that. The end result isn't even worth it, since other characters can deal 180 DPS from farther away and without needing to ramp up first. The primary is so bad that many times a support character won't be afraid to challenge and beat a Sim in a duel. So first up, increasing the range to 14 meters, 1 meter shorter than Zarya. That extra 2 meters of beam length will allow Sim to position safer, allowing for more kill confirms. My reasoning for the slightly lower range than Zarya is because Sim will have her new TP and passive to aid her in close range duels. Now for the charge time rework. Many characters can kill Symmetra before she even reaches level 2. This is especially true if the Symmetra is dived by a Genji or something. Symmetra should be feared when up close, but she isn't because of her terrible charge time. Dealing 60 DPS for over a second is terrible for a close-range damage character. Besides the turrets, charging the photon projector is one aspect that has remained in all 3 versions of Sim. Getting rid of it would actually hurt Symmetra's identity in my opinion. So to keep the charge time, I reworked it a little. The main draw of the new charge time is that you get to level 2 nice and quick, but take a little longer to get to level 3 from level 2. Keep in mind, you will still take 2.6 seconds to get to level 3, which is actually a smidge shorter than current Sim at 2.66 seconds. Like I mentioned earlier, Symmetra struggles in sudden 1v1 duels. Her weapon already has a range limit. The photon projector should feel powerful in those 14 meters. With it taking 0.8 seconds to charge to level 2, Symmetra's new time to kill from level 1 on a 200 HP target without healing would be 1.8 seconds. Whereas right now, from level 1 it takes Symmetra 2.33 seconds to kill a 200 HP target. That half a second difference in time to kill is everything in Overwatch, and should help to make Sim feel scary in close range. With the 1.8 second time to kill on the new Sim, Symmetra will have the 8th longest time to kill, being just 0.3 seconds slower than a Widowmaker with her assault rifle. This is much better than her current 4th highest time to kill, where she takes 0.1 seconds longer than Ana, a support hero. If you're worried about losing damage because of the new charge times, rest assured I got you covered. On the current Symmetra, while taking 1.33 seconds to charge to level 2, you will deal 79.8 damage. Then with another 1.33 seconds at 120 DPS, you will add 159.6 damage. In total, the damage you deal on the current Symmetra before reaching level 3 is 239.4. With my new Symmetra taking 0.8 seconds to charge to level 2, you will deal 48 damage. With level 2 to 3 now taking 1.8 seconds, you will deal 216 damage. So once you hit level 3, you will have done 264 damage. Almost 25 more damage in the same amount of time. The difference between killing or being killed by a 250 HP hero. The overall goal of the primary fire changes is to make Symmetra feel like a threat in close range duels, not someone you could dive and sneeze on to be rid of. To continue with Symmetra's new flanker hybrid role, let me discuss her new passive ability, which I entitled Enhanced Shields. With the Enhanced Shields, Symmetra's shield health will always be healing at 10 shields a second. Keep in mind, this does not affect her normal HP or the out-of-combat healing that the current shields have. That will still occur and stack with the passive. Anyways, other close-range heroes have 250 HP and some way to self-sustain. Reaper has his lifesteal, Doomfist has his shields, and Mei has her ice block. However, since Symmetra will be more of a hybrid as opposed to a full-on flanker, I decided to prioritize the self-healing over the increased health, as 250 health doesn't quite work for this version of Sim I have in mind. While 10 shields a second is quite minimal, there are actually a few cases in which it will save your life. For example, Reinhardt will have to take 4 swings with his hammer to kill you, instead of the normal 3, and Moira will take a whole extra second to kill you. One strategy with the new Sim passive would be to dip in and out of fights with the new TP to regain your health and maintain your presence in the fight. However, my main goal with the enhanced shields is to allow Symmetra to be a little less reliant on a healer, as with her current version, it feels like you need a healer up your butt just to get value. Overall, the enhanced shields aim to allow Symmetra to be a little more independent. Next we have the teleporter changes, which some might also consider drastic. Let's start with the biggest change first. Only Symmetra will be allowed to use her teleporter. In my opinion, Sim's current teleporter is the biggest factor towards her not being a viable DPS. How can you make Sim a close-range DPS monster if she has the capability to teleport her whole team past the choke on top of that? Removing the team aspect from Sim's TP is like ripping off the band-aid to allow for more damage-oriented buffs. Like decreasing the cast time from 2 to 1.5 seconds. We don't see anyone complaining now because of the infinite TP, but the teleporter is super unreliable, both as an initiator and as an escape tool. The 2-second deploy time is way too long. Enemies can see it coming, or you'll be dead by the time your escape TP is ready to go. Since the enemy won't have to worry about a whole team emerging from the TP, I think decreasing the deploy time will be an overall healthy change for Sim. And last up, reverting the cooldown and reintroducing a 10-second time limit. The current taxi service teleporter feels so bad with the way the cooldown works. Because of this, TP bombing and overall movement feels so limited. Reverting the cooldown aims to fix this, and it'll be essential for Symmetra's flanker hybrid playstyle. And last up, the only flat nerf here is to Symmetra's secondary fire, going down from 140 to 125. Yes, I know in the past I've suggested that the orb travel speed go up, in exchange for lower damage. But for this rework, I wanted Sim's orb to actually feel like a secondary fire. I want Sim to get up close with her TP and start chewing things down with her primary. Buffing the orb speed would just promote the Symmetra player to stay in the back line and play like a discount Hanzo. The only reason I'm lowering the damage is because of the faster TP. Since Symmetra will be able to use her teleporter faster and more often, her orb to primary fire combo will become super deadly. Keep in mind that Symmetra will still be able to 2-tap 250 HP heroes, which I feel is important to maintain on the slow orbs. I guess since we're here, I'll bring up the turrets, since I know they've been the talk of the town since their 40 DPS nerfs. I've said it for a while, I wouldn't have minded the turret nerfs if that power was put back into Symmetra's weapon. Well, this rework puts plenty of power into Sim's weapon. So turrets will remain as is. Oh yeah, I like the current ultimate. Even with its nerfs, it's still pretty good. Anyways, that's my Symmetra 3.0 damage mini rework. While this one changes the least about Symmetra, I actually think that if Blizzard were to change Symmetra, these changes would be the most likely for them to do, since it requires the least amount of work. I still think it's a damn shame that the character with 2 reworks is still being picked less than 1% of the time. What did you guys think of this Symmetra rework concept? Blizzard's balancing has been extra garbage lately, so who knows how long it'll be until we see some sim buffs. As always, I'm YellowNinja, and peace.